And with that out of the way, we can go right ahead and talk about this Lakers game when they matched up against Denver last night. It started out looking like literally the story for every single game for the Lakers has been exactly the same. They started out looking good, and then towards the second half, they started to slow down, and the Nuggets started to catch up, and eventually there was a point where the Lakers just forgot how to score, and that's when Denver capitalized on their comeback. So obviously, this was a combination of really bad decision-making and really bad shooting for both sides of the ball in this game. But what was really, staggering to me was just how slow and how undetermined their offense sort of was in the third quarter. I don't know what it was, but it didn't feel like they were really trying to run an offense in the third quarter. And when Denver was answering with bucket after bucket after bucket, the Lakers just weren't doing enough to answer back. And I feel like that third quarter was, it really costed them later in the game when they really needed that production from them. And I'm just looking at the box scores real quick, and the Lakers and LeBron. LeBron and Anthony Davis, they played very well in this series, and so far, this series, I can't really blame it on either of them because of the production that they're doing. The blame, it has to go on the teammates in this, because AD, he ended the game with 33 points and 15 rebounds. LeBron ended with 26 points, 9 assists, and 6 rebounds. Obviously, these are very impressive numbers. And when you look at the field goal, percentage and the efficiency behind these numbers, that's even more impressive. But I don't know what it is with this team. It's just they can't win it, and they can't win a game. Austin Reeves, he played really well in this game. He had 22 points, was 8 for 17 from the field, but then D'Angelo Russell just goes 0 for 7. At home, he goes 0 for 7 and drops 0 points and literally just hinders the Lakers' performance throughout the entire game instead of, helping it how is expected of him and how he's been helping the Lakers in the regular season. And it's this is the story every single time with LeBron. It's it's expected that the Lakers secondary and the Lakers next players up in the rotation are going to be a weak point. But what isn't really expected is the main what really isn't expected with these Lakers is the main starting five that has been so formidable recently, letting them down when it matters most. Like I said, D'Angelo Russell was terrible, going 0 for 7 from the field. But Roy Hachimura, in all of these games, he hasn't really been that much better, and he hasn't really been producing good enough or as well as he can in the postseason either. In Game 2 against Denver, he ended up scoring only 3 points, playing 38 minutes, and he shot 1 for 7. In the first game against Denver, In the first game against Denver, he only had 7 points and took only 4 shots. And now in this game against, in the most recent game against Denver yesterday, he only ended up getting 5 points. So these, in the last 3 games, he hasn't been able to get 20 points. And it's been 3 games. That is not ideal for someone like Roy Hachimura. And this Lakers team, they need absolutely everyone to step up, and it can't be just LeBron and Anthony Davis doing all of that hard work. It just can't. And with how good the Denver Nuggets are, it just can't be 2 players that are doing all of the work, especially when you give up as many easy looks as they did to Aaron Gordon in this game. And remember how I said that this game sort of fell apart for LA when they went into the third quarter, when they went into the second half? That was sort of, Aaron Gordon was the main catalyst to the Denver Nuggets, in that half. Now, Aaron ended the game with 29 points and 15 rebounds. So the fact that he's even able to get that many points with the shots that he takes and like the amount of dunks and layups that he attempts, it's really like it's unacceptable how many open looks they allow Aaron Gordon to have in this game and how many open looks they allow Aaron Gordon to have in general. Part of it has to do with the amazing playmaking from Jokic, but another part of it also has to do with just the pitiful defense that I'm seeing from the Lakers, because it's not like they're really bothering to like try and stop him when he goes into the paint. So Jamal Murray, he ended the game with 22 points and 9 assists. Nikola Jokic ended the game with 24 and 15. Michael Porter ended the game with 20 and 10. And that was basically all all the important scores for this Denver Nuggets team and for the matchups that they've had. Again, this is like you don't really need to have that much scoring from the starters when the other team doesn't really have that much production that they're getting from their starters. So the fact that they only had four notable players in the scoring column for this game, it was more than enough to get them the win, because the Lakers, they really only had like 3, and 2 of them were actually efficient from the field. And that's another problem that's been sort of plaguing these Lakers. It's their lack of efficiency in closing out a lot of these games. That's what made this team a championship team, and that's sort of like that was the big difference maker between the Lakers in 2020 and every other team. It was the fact that these Lakers were able to close out games whenever they had a lead. When they would have a lead, it was very rare that the Lakers would give it up, and they knew how to close out. Now it sort of seems like the opposite for this game, where for the series, where it's like the Lakers, they can't close out a game. And they've been up almost every single time at the half, and they just can't seem to get it done for whatever reason it might be. And again, it was mainly that third quarter that killed them in this game. And it was the third quarter that killed them in the previous game as well. And then it was also, like, obviously the final shot. There's really nothing that you can really do to stop someone from making that difficult shot. But they had a huge lead in the half of Game 2, and they just couldn't close out. It seemed like it was going to be a pretty simple and easy victory for the Lakers in this game, but it really wasn't, and they ended up blowing a 20-point lead, which obviously it's not ideal when you're the Lakers. So now you are in a 3-0 hole with the stigma that no team in the history of basketball has ever come back from being down 3-0. And the Celtics, they almost did it last year, but they ultimately ended up losing in the 7th game at home in a blowout loss. So, like, the odds aren't really in LeBron's favor for this game. And he's come back from 3-1 before, which was a deficit that nobody has come back from in the finals. But coming back from 3-0 is a completely different story, because no one has been able to do that in the history of the game, and let alone in the first round. So asking LA to come back from 3-0 is going to be a very daunting task for them, especially when they still have players in their rotation that just aren't playing as well as they should be. So I've been trying to sort of brush it off, because it's like, okay, it's LeBron, they'll figure something out. But I genuinely don't think that they will figure something out against these Nuggets. And of all the series that could be played right now in the first round, I didn't want to say it then because I just wasn't sure, but in hindsight, this did seem like the most likely series that would end up in a sweep coming in from Denver. If there was any team that was going to pull off a sweep, it was going to be the Nuggets against the Lakers in the first round. And, like, I said this, I refrained myself from saying this because it's like when you have LeBron in the postseason, you just never know until he's really out of the postseason. So out of that kind of respect, I just wanted to make sure that it was like, okay, like they still have somewhat of a chance, but given how now they're down 3-0, and it's been over a year that they've actually been able to win a game against them, I don't think they have enough what it takes in the tank to come out on top. Like, I genuinely think this would be the last game in the series once they match up against them again and they go into Game 4. I think this, like, it's really been up and down for the Lakers, but you can't get more down than this. And it's like it happens every single time. LeBron's teammates every single time let him down when it matters most. Because if he would have played a little bit better, then they wouldn't have been in this type of situation. Literally, all you had to do is just play a little bit better, and you would have ended up coming out on top. And it was just one guy that they needed the production from. They didn't even need Roy Hachimura's production for this game, and they just really needed D'Lo's. And with how he was talking and with how he's been talking, he was talking up a storm before Game 3, and he was chatting like, you guys saw me in Game 2, I'm going to do that same thing over in LA in Game 3, and he ends up scoring only 0 points. This is really bad coming in from D'Lo, and it's just like, when is it going to get any better? And it doesn't seem like it will. So you also have to think, like, what's going to happen, like, come the off season. Like, this might be some news for D'Lo. Like, the Lakers might not even try and get D'Lo in the next season, which ultimately might cause LeBron to wanting to leave. And there's going to be a lot of news that is going to be coming from the Lakers after this series, I think. And I'm very, skeptical on whether or not LeBron's going to stay on LA, but we'll see. But that's all that we have for this segment. So now I will be talking about the Knicks and the Sixers game in the second segment. And, the Sixers, they were able to steal a game behind, well, not really steal a game. They were able to win a game in the series behind Joel Embiid and his scoring performance. So I'm going to go ahead and go over that game after this short break from this. So be sure to tune in to the second segment if you want to hear me talk about the Knicks and the Sixers in their playoff series. So I will be right back after this short break.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign.
I wanna be the greatest. Everybody on the fake shit. I look around and feel like everybody is the fakest. I make this every day and I'm impatient, hoping one day I blow up from the basement. Statement, the top is so vacant. I don't hear shit that I think is amazing. Waiting for my day when I'm playing sold out shows for 1,000 faces. Hey, give me that crown, get in my way and to be put down. It ain't your place, all this my town. If I want that shit, then I'll get it right now. I'm losing it, the noose it fits. I'm losing shit, a stupid myth. You choose to live or choose to dip. You choose to fight or lose your grip and lose a gift. Oh.
I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody in the world blind? Please, Lord, give me a sign, a sign. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Is everybody